All right, Vince, before I start this review, I think I'm just going to have to take a really deep breath here.
Yeah, me too.
I will fulfill our destiny. I will finish what you started.
Okay, here we go. The Force Awakens. Anyone who ever has watched our show knows that Vince and I are Star Wars fanatics, and we've been waiting a year for this film to come out ever since it was announced. About a month or so ago, the promotions that started with this film were okay at first. I didn't have a problem with them. And then all of a sudden, it was like Star Wars exploded everywhere. I mean, you could not go to a freaking store without seeing Star Wars everything.
I didn't really have that much of a problem with that. I mean, I kind of figured it was going to happen because it's Disney. Disney's involved with this, so yeah, and they spent so much money buying the whole Lucasfilm Star Wars franchise. Yeah, they're going to try to get that money back as any way they can, so they're going to milk this thing no matter what.
It was like the character from Clockwork Orange, where you had your eyeballs open and they were pumping Star Wars into your brain 24 hours a day. That's what it felt like.
I got caught up in that too. And I will say this, even as much as I love Star Wars, yeah, it got tiring. It did. It was just Star Wars overload. And for a film, even though, yes, we the fans have been waiting not only a year, Dave, for this to come out, but 30-something years to see this particular chapter. How much promotion did you really have to give it? Nothing.
They could have showed one trailer, and this would still have been the biggest film of all time.
You know, if they never showed another trailer at all, I'd be fine with it. You know, I was good. Even after the original teaser trailer, I was actually good.
The week leading up to this movie, Vince, it was like trying to avoid stepping on a landmine. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing ever.
And trust me, I've been doing that for almost a year, Dave. The almost entire year, I stayed away from anything and everything that was either printed or written or anything that would say, we've found out Star Wars, Force Awakens, blah, blah, blah. I would stay completely away from it.
Final week leading up to the movie, that was the worst. That was the absolute worst.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to stay away from it.
Going to this movie, Vince, I had my earbuds in and I had music on because I didn't want anyone around me to spoil anything, because I'm sure half the people had gone and seen it the night before. I didn't even take them out until the movie started, because that's how I was trying to keep spoiler-free for this film.
We were standing in line, all of us, standing in line with our fingers in our ears.
This movie started at 9:15 a.m. in the morning on December 18th is when I saw this, the day it came out. And I got there 3 hours early because I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea if there was going to be a line of people, if there was going to be 1 million people there. I had no idea. So in St. Louis, I get there at Ronnie's 20 to go see this at 6 o'clock in the morning. Nobody there, Vince. Not one person was there. Nobody.
And I went to see it the day before, and like I said, at 10:45. But I got there like 9 hours early. But I'm glad I did, actually, because we were the very first people in line for my show.
It was about 7:30, 8 o'clock, right around then. All these people started pulling in. I mean, cars more... There was probably like 60 or 70 cars there by that time. And it was like 30 degrees outside, so nobody was getting out of the cars because the doors were still locked. You know, they didn't unlock the doors yet. There was a sign posted on the door. So I got out of the car, I walked up to the movie theater to read this sign, and it said... I took a picture of it. I'll probably show it here. But it said something about, you know, you cannot have real lightsabers or blasters in the theater.
Yeah, they did that at my theater, too. They didn't have any signs posted, but they said ahead of time that they didn't want anybody coming with weapons or face masks, like Darth Vader masks or stormtroopers or whatever.
So while I'm sitting there looking at the sign, all of a sudden I hear this bang, 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 bang. And like everybody's getting out of the cars, and they're all rushing the door. And I guess, you know, they were waiting for the first person to get out to actually stand in line, and that was me. And I'm standing at the door, And I turn around, there's like 60 people behind me. I mean, within 10 seconds, boom, there they were.
They were waiting for you, Dave. That was it. They were waiting. You were the person. You were the focal point there. You were the one. It's that Star Wars freak right there. That's the one we got to wait for.
I was the first person in line. It was pretty cool. So then the guy opened the door up, and so we went in there, and it was an IMAX screen. The doors of the IMAX theater are closed, and I'm standing there in front of the line with my wife, and we have like 60 or 70 people behind us, and I'm leading this group of people.
You were the Obi-Wan Kenobi for them.
So first of all, I saw this on an IMAX 3D screen. Is that what you saw it on?
I wasn't going to go to this movie without seeing it in IMAX.
Let me tell you something, Vince. You know, both you and I have gone and seen so many 3D films. You know, movies that aren't supposed to be 3D, but they make them 3D just to make an extra, $3 on you when you go see a film. And they're always, they're sort of whatever. This movie, go see it in 3D.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Oh, my God. It was incredible in 3D.
If you're going to see it in IMAX, too. Well, IMAX is the best way to go for this movie, but I realize that those tickets are really expensive. So, yeah, but if you can see it in 3D, go see it in 3D.
Now, okay, like I said, I was sitting there, waiting for the movie to start, and I was excited, but I wasn't overly excited. And then, Vince, it came up on the screen. And I was gone. I mean, that was it.
The Lucasfilm logo comes up, and then John Williams' music hit. And then it said, Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and they all went, huh! Like it just... like suddenly you could hear a pin drop in the place. It was like everybody just shut up at once.
This entire film was just, for me anyway, an emotional roller coaster. I mean, I seriously never experienced a film like this and felt so much emotion watching a movie. I mean, I was like almost literally breaking down while I was watching this film, Vince.
For me, it was 1977, it was 1980, it was 1983, all over. I was back in my Star Wars prime youth watching this movie. It's amazing, and it is everything that I told you, and I kept telling you throughout the entire time not to worry about, too. Because I kept saying, J.J. Abrams has got this. Because I had total faith in him doing this movie because he's a Star Wars fan. And he exactly did everything that the fans wanted to see, everything that he hoped to see, everything was in perfect balance with this movie.
Seeing this, and it was like, it's Star Wars again. I crave that so much, and I still have never gotten it. Even with the new movies, I didn't get it. This one, finally I got it. It was like being 7 years old again in 1977, experiencing this film. It was amazing.
Everybody knows going into this movie, we're not giving this away either, is the original characters are back. And every time a new original character would finally show up in this movie, every single time, the crowd went wild. And they were just like, yeah! And they start clapping, because there was Han Solo. There was C-3PO. There was Princess Leia. It was like they went crazy just for a few seconds, but they went crazy. It was like everyone clapped and cheered just to see them again.
The first time they ever showed the Millennium Falcon, I lost it. I mean, yeah, I lost it. It was like you never expected to see the Millennium Falcon. I never expected to see the Millennium Falcon on screen ever again. First time they showed it, I lost it. I mean, literally, I was like melting in my freaking chair. I was losing it.
Yeah, and you know already that's my favorite ship in the Star Wars universe. That is my favorite ship ever.
I think the one thing in this film that really just made me go crazy was to see, I don't know why, and all the other characters in this film, but for me to see Princess Leia, I can't believe I'm sitting here watching Princess Leia in a Star Wars movie.
I have to say, the new characters, the new actors in here, awesome. John Boyega as Finn, Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron, Daisy Ridley as Rey, all of them were fantastic in their roles. They were incredible.
So being that I knew nothing about this film, I mean zero. I knew the trailer and that was it.
There is a lot to take into in this film. I mean, there's a lot going on in this movie. That was one thing about the film, though, that it's like they packed as much as they could into the story. You've got the original characters in there, and they've got their backstory of what they've done in the last 30 years. and then on top of it, you got the new story, and they're trying to show where the new characters are coming from, and where the Resistance is coming from, and where the First Order is coming from, and they're trying to show all this all at once. So there is a lot to take in. I will say that.
All right, we gotta wrap this up, Vince. I mean, this is ridiculously long. Okay, so first of all, I went into this film not expecting anything, and then I became like a emotional, fanboy. I don't care, whatever you want to call it. By the end of the film, I was 7 years old again, watching Star Wars for the very first time, and it was a feeling that I've waited 30 years to experience. And I finally got to experience that. And, I ain't going to say this is like the greatest film I've ever seen because, it's a great film, but it's not the greatest film. Lord of the Rings still is the greatest film. But other than that, this gets the...
I would agree with everything that you just said. Plus, for myself, I waited 30 years to see Star Wars again. I waited 30 years to see Han Solo again and Princess Leia again and all the original characters and to finally feel that universe again and walk around in it and be happy with it again and to take in John Williams' new score, which there's a lot of new themes in this movie, and as well as the old ones, and to hear all that again and I was home, just like Han Solo said. I'm home, and because of that, this movie gets I was home again, Dave. I felt Star Wars again, and I'm so happy, and I trusted my instincts on this with J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy, and I told you what was going to happen, and it happened, and I'm so right. I was so right, and I'm so happy that I was so right about it.
This accomplished something that no other film has ever done. It made me feel like a kid again. That's the only movie I have ever seen in my life that literally made me feel like a kid again.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm right there with you, Dave.
I walked into the movie theater, and it was 2015. When I walked out, it was 1977.